All right, welcome back into the Yappin Wrestling Podcast, episode 2 here on the channel. Today, pretty simple pod. We are breaking down our Survivor Series War Games predictions. And at the end, Deli, my co-host, my friend, is going to cut Tony Khan's ass on an AEW rant. If you're an AEW fan, stick around for that. If you're an AEW hater, stick around for that.
Exactly.
But
Just stick around. Just stick around.
Yeah.
If you just stick around, man.
yeah, if you fucking
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
We are going to talk all things war games. We're going to give our predictions, and we're going to kind of give a little bit of a deep dive into some forward booking on these matches as well. I want to start with the women's war games match. I'm going to do the card in the order of how I anticipate the matches happening.
Yep.
So I think we're going to start off with women's war games. That is Team Rhea with Rhea, Bianca, Naomi, Io, and the newly added Bailey. That was pretty much confirmed in the graphic. I don't know if they confirmed it in TV, but when I was making the thumbnail for the pod today, I looked up the match, and she's already in the graphic.
So that's probably something they're gonna announce on Friday.
Yeah, but she's already in their graphic, and then it's versus Team Liv with Liv, Raquel, Nia, Candice, and Tiffany Stratton.
That match going bump.
I think it's going to be the match of the night. I think from an in-ring perspective, it is going to be the best match on the card. Obviously, the men's War Games has a lot more story driven behind it from an in-ring perspective, where we have Tiffany and her athleticism, Bianca and her athleticism. We know that Io is going to do some crazy moonsault spot. Last year, it was with a garbage can. We'll see what it's with this year. Candice, like I told you guys last pod, she a sleeper for this match. She's going to get in there with those weapons and know what she's doing. We got Rhea, we got Raquel, we got Nia. So we got some big-bodied women going around out there. I think it's going to be great in ring. I am predicting that the baby faces will win this match. I think Team Rhea picks up the victory. I think it makes sense on a lot of levels. Rhea is going to get a shot at Liv. Probably Netflix Raw because they announced Io versus Liv for Saturday night's main event.
Oh, they did. Nice.
I don't know if they announced it, but I saw one of the Wrestle Votes, Wrestle Ops, something said that was happening. So that's going to be solid fun on there. But I think the babyface is picking up a win. Means more. No titles on the line. I saw some people were speculating that they think Tiffany is going to cash in either during or post War Games match. I don't see it. I don't want to rain on the parade because I'd love it as much as the next guy. We talked about this last episode. I just think it's a little too cluster to have a cash in. And plus, with Liv there, I don't know why Tiffany wouldn't just cash in on Liv. And someone said that they think that Tiffany and Candice are working together secretly, and they're trying to take out Nia. And I guess we could play it out that way, but ultimately, I don't think we see a cash in. I think the baby faces reign strong. And I think Bianca Belair is the one who gets the pin. And it plants just a little seed of, is Bianca better than Rhea? Because I think with the Jade Cargill injury news, she's going to be out 3 months to a year, likely missing WrestleMania. Get well soon. I think we could be headed towards the most must-see match in the division, Bianca and Rhea. And I mean, talk about a fallback.
Talk about I mean, that's really how it's been, because over the last I think even last year WrestleMania, that's how I was kind of with the original plan with Seth and CM Punk, but then the fallback plan was, as you see, the feud of the year pretty much was the injury thing happened, and then it was freaking CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. So I guess it kind of like the same thing where now actually you will see a babyface Rhea with a heel Bianca. And
you think that's how they're going?
I think recently she's been showing heels.
So do you think she's the one who took out Jade?
I don't think she's the one that took out Jade. I think the person that took out Jade would be more towards it's a lot of speculation. I really don't know, because that's probably like the hardest thing.
I don't think we find out at Survivor Series. I think we find out at Saturday night's main event, because I think it was either Bailey or Naomi, and one of them is going to be heel after their match. Because I think that's the guaranteed final of the United States Women's Championship.
Yes. I see like a Jade come out You know what I'm saying? Even though she's injured, she come out and kind of like the Triple H and Shawn Michaels thing where Shawn Michaels on that via satellite and he showed the cameras and whatnot. Now it could be either Bailey, it could be Naomi, it could be Charlotte, which I don't think it's gonna be Charlotte, or it could be
It could be
Bianca.
Bianca.
It could be Bianca. I think the three you could say is Bianca, Naomi, and Bailey. Do you want to take Bailey to beat? She just became babyface. You want to bring her back to heel? I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe it's too early. But I think the top two is Naomi and Bianca. The two people that I could see that did it. But to what you said that Bianca pins Liv. I think
I actually didn't say who it was. I just said that I think Bianca gets the pinfall victory. If I had to pick somebody, I don't know. Maybe Raquel.
Yeah, I was thinking. I didn't mean to jump ahead, but I was thinking more. I was thinking Rhea pins Liv because Liv been getting pinned a lot, and I think that can go as like her say I pinned you again, and I get my shot at first Raw and Netflix. But I also want to say to add to the point to why I said as far as Bianca being heel, I think you kind of see a little distinction between her and Rhea in that match. I kind of like a bumping of heads or whatnot because I think that's gonna be the match at with the stuff happening with Jade, and we know me and you said EO and Rhea. I think now since the stuff happened with Jade and she might be gone for the whole year at the press rate, I think we might see
and then
now
do
Bianca,
EO and Rhea at Elimination Chamber in Toronto.
Yes.
Do that because we still need that.
Yes.
Let's not put it or SummerSlam, but let's not put it to the side. And we'll see if we get on track for that and talk about how we finish. But we both have the babyface women winning.
Yes.
Because they have the advantage in the War Games match as well. All right. The next match I think we see is the United States Championship match, Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight. Listen, this feels so rushed to me. I would have rathered the idea that we threw out there as the fifth match, the traditional Survivor Series match, Final Testament in the Miz versus the Wyatt Six, I think would have been better. For me, I feel like there's not enough juice behind this for Nakamura to win.
No.
And it feels very rushed to have him just come back and look like a loser already. So SmackDown was pre-taped. So for anybody who doesn't want a spoiler, I guess skip ahead 30 seconds. But Nakamura again gets the upper hand on LA Knight on SmackDown. It's just he attacks him after the match, and it's kind of like rerun of what we've previously seen. So LA Knight's been looking stupid for weeks now when it comes to Nakamura, so I don't see him losing. I actually think this is one of those weird spots where WWE's kind of better off going with a fuck finish, like a double DQ or a double DQ, double count out, something of that sort. Just pinning Nakamura so quickly feels worthless, and it feels like, okay, so he's just a fucking loser. And it would feel like the exact same thing as his feud with Cody Rhodes last year. But I just can't imagine LA Knight it'd be a real shock if they're going for a shock value if he dropped it right here. But I feel like he's going to be in this U.S. title picture come WrestleMania. And I'm fine with him winning this feud against Shinsuke because he doesn't really have a great feud under his belt as champion, but this feels very soon.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I just feel like we have to, Shinsuke is so beloved. We have to start bringing Shinsuke back and then let him be in an okay feud, lose, leave again, be in an okay feud.
Let him win some matches on SmackDown.
Yes.
Put him in very rushed Andrade and have him beat Andrade, have him beat a Santos, have him beat a Carmelo, have him beat some guys in this division and build him up to look good, and then have a real all-out war type match. There's losing and looking strong in defeat. But because Nakamura has been gone for so long and has nothing under his belt, a clean loss here just makes him look weak.
And I hope it is a fuck finish because this probably gonna be the least time match. It's probably gonna be like a 10 to 12 minute match. So it's not going to give him much time to actually tell the story that's supposed to tell.
Yeah.
It's going to be very short. So let's pray and hope it is a fuck finish because I know LA Knight been in something with Santos. So hopefully Santos come in and do something to make it a fuck finish.
I wouldn't even mind Nakamura cheating to win this match and then the title flopping back to LA Knight. But for me, I just can't have Nakamura losing clean here.
Nah, he can't, and I think that'd be, you know, he just can't. He can't lose this cleanly. It has to be some fuck finish. It has to be something that makes Nakamura have a long feud going past, I guess, close to WrestleMania or another match on a
I
SmackDown
think
before.
WrestleMania for the US title is perfectly positioned for the multi-man ladder match of LA
Yeah,
Knight, Nakamura, Carmelo Hayes, Santos,
Andrade,
Andrade,
Andrade.
if AJ Styles was back and ready to go, like that's where I feel like we should
Yeah,
head for at WrestleMania. And it's fine
yeah,
to have LA Knight just kind of fighting all these contenders up until then, but I just don't want Nakamura to come back and look like a pushover. This felt
yep,
like we have to add a fifth match onto this card. We don't want it to be Cody Kevin because there's already too much on this card. And
yep.
instead of going with a triple threat for the tag titles like we talked about on SmackDown, or the traditional Survivor Series match, or anything else, they just
I
were
think
like,
that traditional.
let's put the US title on a pay-per-view,
I
which
think
is
that
fine.
tradition. I think that traditional Survivor Series match was right there, and I think, and
Yeah,
I also heard from, I watched JD, and he was asking Solomon so on Tuesday. He was like, "You think they didn't put Cody in KO because they don't want Cody to get booed?" And I mean, I think that was a good point because I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
in
it is in
Montreal.
Canada, Montreal, it is in Canada. So it's like you don't want your top babyface, your golden boy, to be booed, and he's supposed to be the babyface and the heel
Yeah,
coming in there. Which, it
it's
makes
fair.
sense. It's fair to think, but yeah, that traditional 4v4 Survivor Series with the Final Testament, which they story been really good against the White Sixers right there, and you chose to do something that was like 2 weeks and a half double tape build that I just don't think. I mean, of course, LA Knight is over and it's gonna get a good reaction, but I don't think the matches will go good unless if it was like a 2 month build. If it was 2 month build and they've been fighting back and forth and he been getting the upper
Yeah,
hand, and okay, I'm like, all right, good. I'm just happy that they did put the undercard, the mid card like championships on a top
yeah,
five, or big five, but that match right there is more rushed than the IC match because at least the IC
I
match has
agree.
more history to it. So I just hope, like me and you say both, I just hope it's not a clean victory and it's a
I
fuck
think I'm
finish.
actually gonna pick Nakamura to win here. I don't know if
Don't
it's
sway me.
I
Don't
don't think if
sway
it's
me.
by count out or by heel tactics, but
Yeah,
I think that there's, and we've talked about this with when I said the reason that I think Kevin Owens should potentially beat Cody Rhodes is
yeah,
not every title reign needs to last months on
100%,
end to be a
100%.
good title reign. If LA Knight loses the title here and then wins it back on the Christmas edition of SmackDown on some Christmas street fight, and Nakamura had it for a month, and then LA Knight still has it going into,
Yeah,
Netflix and Royal Rumble season. Like, it's okay if we have
yeah,
a little bit of a change of pace there,
yeah.
and I think it keeps Nakamura more involved. Give me Nakamura to get the win.
Yeah, not everybody
That's
go.
where I'm at
Yeah,
with it.
not everybody gonna be Gunther. Not everybody gonna be Roman Reigns. I think that
Right.
that era is done. I think that was a
I don't think it
Vince
needs to
thing.
be done, but
But I'm
LA
saying like
Knight's
it,
been
and
the
yeah,
champion since SummerSlam at
yeah,
Survivor Series. It's not like he's
yeah.
dropping it
And
immediately, and he's going to get it back fairly quickly.
and the thing about baby faces is they better when they chasing,
Yep.
and it makes it more. It make them more hungrier. It makes the fan get more behind them when they chase. And the
And
fact that
especially
Nakamura,
if they were cheated. Like if
yeah,
we get a missed shot from Nakamura
like how it was
and
when,
then
yep,
and then at Kinshasa, it's like,
yeah,
well, LA Knight can come out of SmackDown and say this jabroni cheated. He spit
yep,
that stupid mist in my face, or whatever he like wants to say.
yep.
So I'm going Nakamura to win. Are you going with no contest?
Yeah, I'm going to no contest. If I do have to pick a victor, I'll pick LA Knight. But I'm hoping for a DQ, hoping that maybe the miss,
Yeah.
maybe a chair shot that the ref see. I just don't hope that. I just hope that if LA Knight does win, it's something like that, not a
Yeah.
finish where he beats Nakamura clean with a BTL of blood fuss drama, and you know what I'm saying. Then he lose, and then now what we doing? Now you already beat him once, so what we gonna do
Yeah.
after that? So I just hope that's not that.
Exactly.
But I'm going LA Knights though. LA Knight. That's what I'm going.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna follow that up with the IC title match. Braun Breaker defends his title against Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser.
Yep.
Um, I'm going Braun Breaker to win here. I think
Yep.
there's a reason it's a triple threat. I think that they're going to do a lot of fun stuff with the double ring.
Yep.
I think that we're going to see Breaker try and suicide dive from one ring into another to hit a spear on somebody. That's kind of my
Yep.
prediction for a spot. If they can pull it off, they'll certainly do it. It should be a, banger, as Sheamus would say.
Yep.
But I think Braun Breaker looks clean here. They want to get him on a big 4 pay-per-view. They want to give him a win. I do think he drops that title before WrestleMania because I think they are going to lean into him versus Goldberg there.
Goldberg.
But I
Yep.
think when you're trying to build Breaker up to be the guy to retire Goldberg, you give him a big win on a big 4 pay-per-view, and you have Breaker look strong here, whether it's pinning Kaiser or Sheamus.
I think yes, I agree 100%. I think Breaker drops because I think I seen some today. I seen some like the other day that they go. He's not a heel, but he's not a baby face. So he's a tweener. So I could see him dropping that title to a Bronson Reed and have Bronson Reed drop that title to a Sheamus at WrestleMania. I can see that. Then you go to what you call. So I can see how they pushing Bronson Reed, what they do. I can see that. But yeah, I'm going Breaker too. I think that this is probably the most fun match that we gonna have. I think we fun with the double rings with the speed and you got Sheamus in there. He throws a banger, and Ludwig Kaiser. He's a freaking phenomenal wrestler. So I think that match is. I think it's going to steal the night. It's not going to be the best match, but it's going to steal the night. And I think that's going to be. I think Breaker going to win. I think he'll pin Ludwig, and then I think he retains.
Yeah, for sure. We move on. The World Heavyweight Championship match is Damian Priest challenging the champion Gunther. Before I get into my pick here, how have you been feeling about this storyline, man? Because I saw it again on Monday, and I gotta tell you, Gunther that lost his confidence, I just don't like it. And it's not having the positive effect on Priest that I think that they want it to have, at least for me. I'm just watching it and thinking, why is Gunther being like a loser? And it has, and I'm not like, oh, it's because Damian Priest is so awesome. I'm just watching it thinking the world heavyweight champion's kind of a loser.
I don't get that booking. I don't get the booking at all as far as making, because throughout Gunther both title reigns, he's been looking like a badass. He's been
Like
looking
he's
like
the ring general.
Yeah, he's a ring general. He's like a foreign boss. He looked like he looks like that guy. And then I don't know the last couple 3 weeks, his confidence is low. He's yelling at Ludwig, and Ludwig trying to get his confidence up. And like, I don't know what type of play they trying to make, because I don't know how somebody's confidence could be low after they just beat the guy. And I guess he could say, well, you didn't beat me clean because my brother, who posed my brother, which he said last week, my brother interfering, you can't beat me. And I don't understand what they're trying to do. Like how you told me last week, you said, well, you said something about making Gunther babyface. And I was like, yeah, I told you about, he might be babyface. And you was like, you said that, but it don't look like that's what they try to
It doesn't
make
look like babyface.
Yeah, no.
And my thing is, Gunther is supposed to be, for any Rocky fans, he's supposed to be Drago. Like that's what he's supposed to be, like overseas cyborg, James Bond villain. And like you get scared that when your babyface is in the ring with him, that he's going to get ripped apart. Like that's what Gunther is supposed to be. And seeing Gunther just kind of act like a bitch, like I'm like, all right, well, like this stinks. Like this isn't a good way to generate heel heat. So I don't know how they're going to book that into the match and into the ending. Gunther's going to win. I don't think there's any question about that. I forget what it is, but a betting odds site came out with their odds for the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, and John Cena is currently the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Obviously, things can change between now and then, but John Cena versus Gunther feels very possible for WrestleMania when you kind of look ahead and you look at, well, who's Gunther going to be facing? There's not really a ton of options out there. Because everything with Lesnar, that's probably not happening with the lawsuit. CM Punk and Seth Rollins are going to be tied up with one another. Damian Priest, Finn Balor feels like they're going to have another match at WrestleMania, and you start going down the Raw roster and you're like, there's nobody on this roster to fight this guy unless Drew McIntyre comes back as a face and we go that direction. But I just personally don't see
slim pickings for that. And I think 100%. I don't know how they're gonna book this match. And this match probably gonna be the most interesting, most hard hitting physical match of the
Do you think Finn Balor cost Damian Priest again? Because Finn Balor on Raw has still been shit talking Damian Priest over and over again, and we've talked about this. Balor's just kind of sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, and they won last week, which was surprising. They won Monday, which is very surprising.
And like you mentioned, brought up in the storyline, Priest could say like, "You couldn't beat me clean." Maybe he doesn't beat him clean. Maybe
Yeah,
Balor gets involved again.
and I think so, because why wouldn't he? He already beat him. He cost him. He made, you know what I'm saying? So why
Could
wouldn't
you
Balor
see?
do it?
Could you see? And I'm just spitballing here, but I may have landed on something. They've been showing a little bit of dissension in the Judgment Day, right?
Right.
Balor and JD kind of a little different than Dom and Carlito and Liv. If
What?
they want to separate those, could they be creating a better Imperium of Gunther, Balor, JD, and Kaiser?
I
Add
can see
JD and Kaiser to the Raw Tag Division, have Balor chase the IC title, and
that.
have
Mhm.
Gunther be the world champion.
I mean, I can see that, but then again, it's
Gives them
like
all purpose,
it
all
gives them all purpose.
European.
It's just like, okay, so that right there all depends on Finn, though, because Finn ego right now, because you know the thing that happened with Dom, and he wants the world title, and he wants to
Well, he
be
was saying on Raw that they don't have a real leader.
right.
Maybe Gunther is a real leader to him.
I mean, 100%, and I can see that. You know what I'm saying? And
I'd love it
yeah, I mean, I can say because
because Raw is
it could
missing
just
a dominant faction.
yeah, yeah, you
SmackDown
know,
has the Bloodline, both of them,
yeah,
and Raw for the wide majority of this year was
just
dominated by the Judgment Day. And we
yep,
kind of thought on, in conversations that we had that Imperium was going to take that over. Then they moved Vinci over to SmackDown because of everything that supposedly went on behind the scenes, and
yep,
Kaiser became a single star. They never put anybody with him. I could as well
shocking.
see potentially a returning Ilya Dragunov and Gunther at WrestleMania, and things we were talking
Yeah,
about there. But you know, those are just some ideas. I would be for the Imperium with Balor, JD, Ludwig, and Gunther.
I mean,
I would be for that.
it will for sure send a shockwave to the roster if that happens. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, okay, what's is Finn going to check that ego to the side, and like as far as per story, if he checks that ego to the side, I also kind of look like they're trying to make Dom into a singles guy too, like him
Yeah,
get
I
away from
think like they
everybody.
want to break him and Liv off into their own thing, which I definitely get. Like the heel heat on them isn't heel heat on the Judgment Day; it's heel heat on them.
Yeah, they don't get
And
that type of heat
having
with all of them
him,
together.
Liv, Raquel, and Carlito just kind of be their own thing would be fine, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Dom could be a player in the IC title division. I
100%. I
think
think
he's ready for that.
yeah, he's very ready. I think he's ready. I think he's growing into this. I think he's ready for that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So we move on to the main event, the men's War Games match. I've been really going back and forth on this, and I have the women's face team winning, which leads me a little bit to think maybe there's a world that the heels win here. And internet
Wouldn't be
sleuths were
surprised.
putting in some work. They noticed Paul Heyman's attire on SmackDown:
Hmm.
black
Hmm.
suit, red shirt, red handkerchief, kind of what we've seen Solo been wearing for months now. Very Solo Sokoa-esque look.
Right.
Paul Heyman came back on SmackDown. Roman Reigns very clearly did not know he was coming back. Roman Reigns did not answer his phone call. This was not a planned thing. This was just a Paul Heyman thing. CM Punk, kind of a missionary working on just behalf of Paul Heyman, no
Right.
ties to the bloodline. We see on Raw this past Monday, I forget who it was, Jay or Sammy or somebody brought up, can we trust CM Punk? And Jimmy Uso, who was also off TV for a while, very quickly came out and was like, of course we can. It's Paul Heyman. It's the wise man. And I think that there is a shot that after the powerbomb spot, Roman didn't reach out to Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns, very selfish. We know this. His character still is very selfish. And Paul Heyman was taken in by Dwayne The Rock Johnson to
Hmm.
work as a double agent,
Yep.
pretend to be Roman's wise man still, actually be The Rock's wise man. And when Roman least expects it, Paul Heyman turns on him,
Yep.
and we see The Rock at the end of this match, and The Rock walks into War Games, hits Roman with a rock bottom. Solo gets the pin, and The Rock is revealed as the leader of this new bloodline. And it wouldn't be the first time at a Survivor Series pay-per-view that Paul Heyman has turned on his boy. If you remember, I mean, we are what was it? Survivor Series 2004? Is that the first one with the Elimination Chambers? 2003?
Yeah.
I want to look it up because if it's exactly 20 years,
wait, he turned on two for Brock, right? Or was it for
he
Big Show?
turned on
Brock for Big Show? Brock for Big Show?
2002. He turned on Brock Lesnar for the Big Show.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So 22 years later, two decades and some change, does Paul Heyman turn on his guy again to switch up at a Survivor Series?
And this is what, why we talk so much about story, because it's a lot of story going on with this match. And
and plus you have all the CM Punk, Roman Reigns, who's the Paul Heyman guy, like if they don't go that direction.
So I think we talked about it last Wednesday when I told you, I said, this could be Paul Heyman not only could fuck Roman Reigns, but he could also fuck over CM Punk.
Yes.
So this is like, if this happens, now you can get.
And you talk about Summer of Punk. Maybe it's not Roman Punk. Maybe it's Roman.
Yes.
Maybe it's Rock Punk at SummerSlam.
And this is what I was saying as far as that, because I was telling you that I think off camera, I was telling before we got on last week, I was saying, well, Punk did an interview and Punk was talking about all the guys he wants to face. And the two guys that he said he wanted to face was Roman and Rock. Those are the two guys. So if Saturday plays out how a lot of people speculate and how you speculate, then you can get a program with Rock, Roman, and CM Punk, and Roman and Rock going for the same thing. And now you can.
We could get to next year's WrestleMania and have it be Roman and Punk for a title.
Yes. And
because we could go Rock Roman at this year's Mania.
Yep.
Punk Rock at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Punk Roman at WrestleMania. 22.
Yes. And who knows, by the time SummerSlam, Rock could have that belt and CM Punk beat Rock for the belt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That can be the SummerSlam summer. Remember,
because we could always get Rock Cody at this year's WrestleMania, and then Rock Roman all the way at next year's. Like, there's a lot of different directions that WWE could go. We can probably get Rock where we find out.
We could probably get Rock Cody. Say if Cody loses the belt, Cody wins it. Cody beats Randy. We can do the next big what? I don't think it's gonna be Money in the Bank, but we could probably do Survivor Series. Cody, not Survivor. We could do Survivor Series, Cody and Rock, and then have Rock win or whatever you want to do. As far as I think I'm probably getting that all mixed up as far as the Summer Punk. I think I mixed that up a little bit, but I'm just saying like that. If that happens,
there's a lot of dream matches.
It's a lot.
You can throw Seth right in the mix if you want.
Exactly. We can't forget about Seth and
his history now with The Rock, Cody, Roman, Punk. Like, he's connected to all these guys too.
And with Seth potentially, how we are going heel, he can low key align himself with Rock with a common enemy. I think I said that to you. I think in the offline or off camera.
No, I think you mentioned it last week.
Yeah, and I can see that. I can see, which y'all can call me crazy in the comments, but I can see
the Architect Rollins has no problem aligning with the Authority.
The Rock, exactly, and I can
the TKO board,
exactly, and I can see that.
Imagine him Rollins does it to Roman again.
Yes, and I can see that, happening. And as you said, that he did it with Authority, with Triple H.
Do you think there's a shot that happens Saturday? That instead of Rock getting involved in this match, Rollins gets involved, because there was no Rollins on Raw, but they had asked Rollins over and over again to be the next man, and he said, "No shot. I stand side by side with Roman Reigns. His hate for Roman is greater than his hate for Rock.
No mention.
He was only against Rock to take out Roman. Now, like you said, him and Rock common enemy. Could we see Seth Rollins come out, be the mercenary? We think Rollins is the heel, and Rollins is walking up the stage, and all of a sudden, Rock's music hits, and Rock and Rollins shake hands.
Talk about a fucking story. Because once again, like you said, Monday, it was no mention of Rollins on Monday. No mention at all. Nobody mentioned him. Nobody said nothing. No broadcaster said anything about him. Nobody from the old bloodline said nothing about him. So he hasn't been mentioned. It's only been speculation. Because
they do that on purpose. They pull somebody out of your mind right before just to make you forget about them. They plant the seeds and they walk away.
because, like you said,
You're
Rock.
not there while they're watering them.
Yes, Rock and Seth can say my enemy, your enemy is my enemy. We have a common enemy, and they low key they have two common enemies. So it's like Punk. They got Punk and they got CM and they got Roman
on the first Netflix Raw. Rock and Rollins versus Punk and Roman.
Nah, I think you might be honest with you. This might be crazy. I think you might see Punk and Cena versus Gunther and Ludwig. You might see that instead.
Yeah,
because I know Rock gonna be there, but I think, like I think Rock only being there.
How much money does Netflix need to pay to get Rock in that ring?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think Rock gonna be there for Cody. I think they're gonna have this Rock stuff with Cody to get you off of what's really gonna happen. I think Rock being there for Cody, but not really.
I do think, if
we can wait for Rock.
Obviously,
we can wait for Rock.
We could see Rock Cody at Rumble, I think, potentially for the title.
Yeah, we can
add a big match to that.
Yeah. And I will be fine with that. And I'll be fine with that.
Me too. Let's do official prediction. My official prediction here is that Rollins is not involved in this for the time being, but I do think we see Rock. I think Paul Heyman turns on both of his guys. I do think he aligns with The Rock, and I think that the new bloodline with Solo, Fatu, Tung, and Bronson Reed pick up the win in this War Games match thanks to The Rock.
I agree. I'm taking new bloodline. I'm taking Solo. I'm taking Solo pinning Roman. And
my thing here is if the good guys win, then what?
Yes. Yeah.
Then is it Roman Solo in a one-on-one match for the Ulafala? Is that
I think so? Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I also do even if I think Rock shows up no matter what.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think he should. It's that three strike.
So I made a video about
Saturday,
this, and I think the third strike is Punk regardless.
Yes.
When we were talking about the one, like when he did 1, 2, 3, I think he was saying that's 2 out of 3 strikes before you're done. I think Saturday is 1, 2, 3 out of 3. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so. I think, like I said, regardless, he's showing up and he's giving that third strike. And I think
I bet he should, and I will, if that's how he shows up, I'd be willing to bet that Triple H gets you again with the little credit.
Yes. Yes.
The way he got you with Punk, last year.
Shoot, he did it with Bad. He did it with Bad Blood. Everything was all over. They celebrated. They about to leave, and then
I don't think they put up the thing on the screen.
No, they didn't. But it was like,
I'm telling you. You watch out Saturday. That thing's gonna pop up on the screen.
Everybody gonna be looking for that. Everybody gonna be looking for that. As far as they're gonna see that and they're gonna know what's gonna happen. But I think regardless who wins or lose, now my thing about The Rock coming back is to cost the old bloodline, right? How is he gonna get in the ring? Same with Seth.
Keith, because The Rock's. Listen, everybody.
I'm talking like that rant probably gonna be big. That rant probably gonna be big.
Everybody could be out. The Rock could walk down, and the guy with the key holder, The Rock could look at him. You know who The Rock is? Rock's the final boss. Rock on a TKO board. Open that fucking cage door open right now. And that guy will say, yes, sir.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
that's exactly how that'll go. So to summarize, we both have Team Rhea in the Women's War Games match. I have Shinsuke Nakamura becoming the new United States champion. You have a no contest DQ countout finish. We both have Braun Breaker. We both have Gunther, and we both have Solo Sikoa's new bloodline with help of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. As always, be sure to drop your predictions in the comment section. I guess I'll ask you right now, are you free Sunday morning?
I am.
Okay, we will. Yes. We will have a reaction to War Games. Me and Deli will record it Sunday morning because I'll be out of town Saturday night, but I'll still be watching. We'll get it out as soon as possible. I'm going to try my hardest to get it up by noon on Sunday. So, got to get Deli up out of bed by at least 10:30.
yeah. Well, I'll be up. I got to go to work, so I'll be up out of bed anyway. So I'll be up ready and ready to go at 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, whatever time you want to go. I'll be ready for that review. It's gonna be a good review. It's gonna be a good review because it's gonna be crazy.
And I like it that way because we'll get to let it settle. To let it settle.
Yes. A time to react or not. Yes.
those are Survivor Series War Games predictions. Like I mentioned, drop yours in the comment section. It's time for the
A
infamous
segment. A
Deli's
segment.
rant. Anybody
Yes.
that's new to the podcast, coming over
Yes.
from the old channel, not coming over from the old channel, once a week we do this podcast. I would say on average every week, but maybe sometimes like there wasn't one last week. It's sometimes every other week. Deli, I talk on this channel 4 or 5 times a week, including the podcast. Deli's up here once a week. He is going to give you a rant on a topic of his choice. It's usually ripping apart AEW. I can't lie, it usually is, but there's times where it's not. But he will be ripping apart AEW in his Deli's rant today. The floor is yours.
Appreciate you, my man Dylan. All right, let's start off slow before we get to the steam coming out my ear. So let's talk about AEW, right? Number 2 options. Great wrestling, pro wrestling, great whatever, right? Now, let's talk about the topic of hand about AEW. Now, I don't know, Dylan, I don't know if you look, but there's a guy named Ricky Starks. He's an AEW original. He's been in the news lately about what's going on, right?
He's like boys with Cody, isn't he?
Yeah, he boys with Cody. He's very close to Jay Cargill. 2 people that's very close to CM Punk. Also, so those are 3 people, ex AEW people that's going. So you catching my drift, right? You catching my drift, right?
So he's WWE bound.
He 100%. But here's my rant for the night, though, right? And this is why I see a lot of people saying Tony Khan is becoming Vince McMahon. And this is my rant about Tony Khan, because Tony Khan can be very petty. It could be a coward sometimes. And I said it. He's very petty. He's a coward. Because you have this man here who is 34 years old. That's pretty young in wrestling terms. He's 34 years old, right? He is healthy. He had an interview with Chris Van Fleet. Shout out to Chris Van Fleet. Hopefully you watch this pod. Hopefully you know what I'm saying, we big fans. Hopefully you watch this. He has an interview. He had an interview with him. He tells him, I don't know why I'm not featured. I am home. I am healthy. I never got injured. I am good. I'm ready to go. Right? He was supposed to be up. His contract was supposed to be up the end of this year. This man, Tony Khan, picked up his option for another whole year. And you're not using him. He's been at home for 9 months and you're not using him. And you picked up his option. And let me tell y'all why. He picked it up because he knows he's going to join WWE and he don't want him to go join WWE. So he picked up his option for another year for him to stay home so he can't go to WWE. So he wants to kill his momentum. Who do that sounds like, y'all? That sounds like Vince Kennedy fucking McMahon. Sound just like some shit Vince McMahon would do. He would kill somebody, make them ice cold, and let them sit at home and not do nothing. Nobody know about them, and then until they come out. It's bad. I think that's real bad. I think that's bad for a guy like Ricky Starks, who's been a day one, and you push him aside for all these new talent. I think you're a coward for that. I think you did the same thing for Ray Phoenix and how Penta wanted to go be with his brother.
That was because of some injury BS. I heard about that. And I want to clarify, add in a point here. I just looked it up. Jim Cornette said that he guesstimates Ricky Starks' contract per year is around $500,000, meaning Tony Khan is willing to spend $500,000 to have him sit at home just so WB cannot have this man. And my guess is Ricky Starks, like you said, fairly young, probably would just be on NXT for a year.
And that's what he would have been at. And once again, $500,000. So obviously the money don't matter. And that's not just Ricky Starks.
Because Tony Khan's a billionaire. For people who don't know, he also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars NFL team.
Yes.
Like, guy's a billionaire. $500,000 is it's not a lot to him, which is crazy, but the truth.
And like I said, I think the more of this rant is showing that for y'all AEW fans, y'all say, well, AEW is the alternative. Tony Khan is this type of boss. Well, he's looking like Vince McMahon, y'all. The booking sucks. The creative sucks. The show's been sucking. They had one of the worst pay-per-views that they had in the last 5 years. Last week, it sucked. The crowd was dry. They can't sell no.
What do you mean?
Freaking tickets.
They bought the Boom.
and the funny thing about the Boom, he was the best thing on that show, and it was a pre-show. We got that for free, so I had to pay $50 to watch the main stuff. When I could, the best thing that I seen was the pre-show
chocolate cookie for free.
The originals of that mug like these. He was like that. And I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. It ain't just Ricky Starks. It's a lot of people that's been like that. And I just think that for people who love AEW and y'all trying to say y'all okay and everything is okay and everything is great. No, nothing is not. Everything is not okay.
And I will say this: WWE is the opposite now. You saw recently, Baron Corbin and Indy Hartwell and somebody else. One of them, I forget who it was. One of them, their contract just expired, and WWE didn't pick up an option. The other one, WB released at their request. And when you're released out of the contract, there's a 90-day non-compete. That's just kind of standard protocol. And WB's just not going to waive that for anybody because that's just the industry standard and it's acceptable. But you can see when people aren't getting utilized, they're allowed
Triple H let him go. Let him go. Let's go even further with that. Bobby Lashley, MVP. Two people right there who's in AEW.
People who hate Triple H for some reason, but he had no problem letting them go.
Bobby Lashley could have got more time putting on. He'd been out for months. And he said, I don't want to be here. And Triple H said, you know what? I understand that. Ricochet. They almost killed Ricochet. I think
some of that also does come from Triple H knowing what it's like to be one of the boys.
Yeah, 100%.
That's 100%. Why for these holiday shows, like SmackDown on Friday, pre-taped, the last live event that WWE did was Raw until Saturday where they have their big show. You got all this week off. Last week's Raw was taped, so the people on Raw even got an additional week off there. It's going to be the same thing around Christmas. And Triple H is much more willing to give these wrestlers time off at their request. Look at Drew McIntyre. Getting a whole, he's been out since Bad Blood. He busted his ass all summer, had a great feud with CM Punk, had a hell of a Hell in a Cell match, left it all out there. And now, I don't know when he's coming back, maybe the first Raw on Netflix, but gets a 2-month break to go spend with his family right around the holidays.
And I think his
and to be fair to Tony Khan, from what I understand, he's very flexible with his contracts like that as well. Lets his people go do indie shows that they want to do in Japan, and you can't do that in WWE. So it's not to say just at Tony Khan, but the point being, Triple H is also very pro wrestler, whether they are in his company or not. And it seems like Tony Khan might be, I'm pro you if you're pro AEW.
And that and
very businessman side of him.
And that's what people got to deal with. And and that's it for Deli Rants. I think I probably have another one coming up next week if I see something that grinds my gears. But let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that rant. Let me know if how y'all feel about AEW recently, last 2-3 months. How y'all been liking the product? How y'all what things y'all want to change? Just let me know. Comment down there. I'm the AEW guy. I'm trying to get my boy Dylan to watch a bit more, but he's too busy. So just let me know.
Every time I talk to you about it, it sounds like it's shite as well. So
it's shitty. Do not watch it on a Wednesday, please.
So I'm not running. Listen, if it gets good again, I can make some time in the schedule. But as of right now, I'm not clearing out time in my schedule. But those were our Survivor Series predictions. Again, if you love wrestling, hit the subscribe button on the channel. Hit the like button on this video. Appreciate y'all for joining us. Catch you guys next time. Peace.